Hello everyone, I'm Gemma Beall. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. I haven't produced a podcast in a while because I've not had much to say. Well, that's not true. I've had a lot to say, but I'm not sure anyone wants to hear it or will even listen. What I have to say could benefit a lot of people, but sadly, the ones who need to hear it the most are the ones that will not hear the message even if they do choose to listen. So I've decided to put it out here to let others make that choice to listen or not, or to hear it or not. But please listen to the entire podcast if you do choose to listen to any of it at all. The issue of equality has been a long-standing issue, not just equality for women or other races, but equality all the way around, and I see so many people screaming for equality without ever looking at any other perspective other than their own, and they cannot see where what they are seeking isn't equality, it is domination. The left and the right both try to paint everyone's perspective in this issue, and most people completely overlook certain elements within this equality debate. This doesn't mean that every instance of someone seeking equality isn't a genuine perspective of equality, but most of them are not, and I will be using examples and explaining why I see it as not as equitable as others perceive the position to be. I will be covering several issues here that the main premise may not appear to be an argument over equality, but it isn't unrelated to equality. Today, I saw a very disturbing video of a transgendered person going ballistic on a clerk at a store because the clerk called them sir instead of ma'am. The person in question obviously looked like a man wearing women's clothes and makeup. This person kept yelling at the clerk for purposefully misgendering them. Now, I'm sure most people have heard the perspectives on this from Dr. Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro. I know most people have, and I do agree with their perspectives for several reasons. My first thought when I watched the video, and this is not the first time I've seen this type of display from a transgendered person, is that I would love to grab this person and ask them one simple question. Are you entitled to your feelings? When the person answers yes, and they will answer yes, I would politely point out that the other person is also entitled to their own feelings. Each of us have our own autonomy over our thoughts, ideas, and feelings about who we are as people. Nobody can change these thoughts, ideas, and feelings about ourselves. Only we can. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, has the right to force me, you, or anyone else what to think or how to feel. End of story. The whole issue over genders is nothing more than a dividing point that has been craftily placed into the human psyche by the people that want to control our minds and divide us against each other. There are 2.5 genders: male, female, and hermaphrodites, which is a person that has both male and female sex organs. There is a difference between sex and gender roles. I personally cannot speak for being a male because I am not one, but I can speak for being a female. Being a female means that you have a vagina, a uterus, and ovaries. Your bone structure is different than that of a male. Your body has a different center of gravity than a male. Your body produces hormones differently than that of a male, and functions differently as well as having different chromosomes than a male. You have breasts, whether they are big or small, that produces milk when pregnant and post-pregnancy. This is scientific and my personal experience. It's not a personal opinion of mine. If anthropologists 200 years down the road dig up your bones, they will be able to tell by looking at your bones which gender you are, not which gender you pretend to be, and whether you like it or not, you are pretending to be something that your physical form is not. Your physical form, by the way, doesn't define who you are unless you must have that definition to be who you are. Being female does not mean wearing makeup, getting manicures and pedicures, getting your hair blown out and dressed all fancy in frilly dresses. That is a gender role, and it doesn't require a vagina, ovaries, uterus, or boobs to partake. Being female, in addition to the scientific description I've already stated, means having monthly periods for a majority of your life, including PMSing, cramps, bloating, being really hormonal and bitchy and emotional, a lot of the time, both during that time of the month and outside of that time of the month. It also means that barring certain medical malfunctions, you can get pregnant and give birth to babies. Aside from being bitchy and emotional issues from hormone injections, a transgendered male to female, even with surgery, will never experience most of the things that make a female a female. They will only experience the gender roles they chose to partake, and that doesn't make them female or even give them an experience to what being a female is really like. I personally do not feel anything negative about seeing a transgendered person. I know several of them, and although I don't understand why they feel the way that they do, I don't need to because it's none of my business, and I don't sit there and judge them for their choices. What I do make judgments on is their behavior if and when they act like the person in the video. But I'm not making the judgment on their choice, I'm making the judgment only on their behavior. Nobody has a right or reason to act that belligerently towards anyone else. To demand that others cater to your feelings isn't a demand for equality, it's a demand for subjugation. Your feelings are yours. If you are going to have them, then own them and stop demanding that everyone else subscribes to them. If they don't, that is ever as much as their right as it is your right to have your feelings. That is equality. Someone refusing to cater to your feelings isn't an act of inequality, it is an act of them exercising their equal right to their own feelings. That is equality. You can take this same argument and apply it to gay people and the religious people who hate them. If you don't want to be gay, don't be gay and don't judge others that are. If you are gay and proud, then be gay and proud and don't expect everyone else to be gay and proud with you. That is equality. If you are religious and proud, then be religious and proud, but don't preach to everyone because those that are not religious and proud have just as much of a right to be not religious and proud or to be gay and proud and to be free from religion as you have the right to be all about religion. That is equality. If all you women want an all-women's club, then by golly, go start one. But don't cry when the men want an all-men's club. The right for both to have it if they want it is equality. It is not equality when one can do it but the other cannot, nor is it equality if neither can have what they want as not to offend the other. This goes for all races too. If you want to self-segregate with your own race, then do so, but don't scream racism when other races make the same choice. That is equality. The problem in all of this is that we are led to believe that equality means everything is equal or of equal value. The definition of equality is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. When you look at all these equality issues, how many of the equality issues are seeing equality? From my research and what I witnessed by observing others in the world around me, most of the people screaming for equality are not looking for equality. They are, once again, looking for subjugation of the people with differing opinions. That is not equality. I certainly do not like people that are assholes and purposefully choose to act with hostility against other people for things like transgenderism, racism, being gay, or even being religious. But I have to support their right to their feelings and their opinions because you cannot support a free will universe and then pick and choose who gets to exercise free will and who doesn't, as long as their free will isn't impeding on the free will of everyone else. That is not equality. A man dressing like a woman and calling themselves a woman does not impede on anyone else's free will, and someone else calling the man sir in spite of them dressing like a woman does not impede on the man dressing like a woman's free will either. Both are exercising their equal rights to their thoughts and their feelings. That is equality. I've heard the argument that transgendered and or gay people have the right to live their lives without judgment for their choices, but show me one person on this earth that has lived their lives without judgment from others around them, whether that judgment is based on their gender, their race, their looks, or the size of their ass. None of us have ever lived a life without judgment from others for some stupid reason or another, so we are all equal right now in this regard. I'm not saying that it's right, I'm just saying until humans alter their consciousness above petty ego bullshit, none of us will be free of that type of judgment, so we are all equal right here, right now in that regard. The communist socialist agenda is working tirelessly to divide us with these issues and whittling away our very rights to our individual thoughts and feelings we have about ourselves and about the world around us. The more they push this divide, the more people are becoming vocal and abusive with their thoughts and opinions about others that have very little or nothing to do with their own lives. I will not say that we all need to love one another because that's just more bullshit they throw our way, but geez, people, don't be a dick. Be kind to your fellow humans, if not out of respect for what you have in common with your humanness, but out of respect for your own damn self. You are responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and nobody else's, and I am responsible for my thoughts, feelings, and emotions and nobody else's. That is equality. When you turn your thoughts, feelings, and emotions into someone else's responsibility, that is not equality, and when you look at these arguments being shoved up our asses, you will clearly see how they are seeking inequality under the guise of equality by making everyone else's feelings and emotions the responsibility of everyone else. Words and actions do have consequences, and the communist socialists are taking the opportunity to utilize your dick behavior to program others to respond with triggered consequences to things that shouldn't be a consequence of free thought and expression. If you don't believe me, take a look at Canada. They've passed a legislative bill that makes misgendering a transgender person a criminal offense. This goes so far against logic and reason and personal freedom, but the video I watched shows how hard they are pushing this agenda here in the States. And that is not equality. If there is one thing I wish I could impress on all the people in the world feeling discriminated against or shat upon by other people in this world, is that where your life is concerned, it is only your opinion of yourself that you need and all that matters. You don't need your life, your thoughts, your feelings, or your choices validated by a source outside of yourself. You should not let an outside source invalidate your life, your thoughts, your feelings, or your choices because that source doesn't agree with it. When you emotionally react to those differences, you give your personal power away to that source, and that is a choice you make that weakens you and empowers them. Remember this always, and it applies whether the issue is race, gender, transgender, sex, culture, or whatever the dividing line is. Most of the time, the person that is in disagreement with you is irrelevant to you and your life. Don't give them relevance by feeding their disagreement. They are not a part of your life, and their participation in your life is most likely will be very short-lived, so don't make them a space in your life by inviting their thoughts, feelings, or negative opinions into your life to rent space in your head. If we could all get over ourselves and allow everyone else to exercise their equal rights to their own thoughts and feelings and stop pushing our thoughts and feelings onto others, then wouldn't we all have a much less to bitch about and to fight about and to hate about? Think about that.